Before we start, let me tell you why this story matters here. It begins with a birthday party that never happened, and the woman who finally stopped saving everyone else when no one saved her. Now I'll tell it myself. The moment it broke wasn't loud. It was a piece of paper sliding across a table like it already belonged to me. Thick paper, red ink, a number circled so hard the pen nearly tore through it. 150. My name is Marianne Caldwell, 70 years old. Most of my life, when something needed fixing, people didn't ask. They paused. They waited. Eventually, all eyes landed on me. That was the system. Quiet, efficient, exhausting. That's how it started with my daughter's birthdays. Small things at first. A cake, a room, a list. Nothing dramatic. Just help. Then better help. Then full control dressed up as trust. This year, the list came with weight. My daughter stayed on her phone, thumb moving fast, already bored. The list stayed with me. That's how it always went. Her voice floated out without effort. Nicer than last year. Bigger, cleaner. No shortcuts this time. I nodded. That part was automatic. My body learned it before my brain did. Last year I paid for flowers that wilted before anyone noticed. Covered a deposit when the budget shifted. Still waiting on that reimbursement. Still telling myself it was fine. No one checked if I wanted to do it. No one even looked up. The chair across from me scraped as someone stood. Conversation moved on. Decisions made. My role confirmed. And yes, my birthday is this month too. That detail sat in my chest like something unfinished. I didn't bring it up. I rarely do. Later that night, I stood in my kitchen, credit card on the counter, the fridge humming like it was nervous for me. I stared at the card longer than I should have. Then I picked it up anyway. This is where I was supposed to keep going. Same as always. The story you are about to hear is a fictional work created by the writing team at Her ShaDown. It is designed to explore power, boundaries, and the quiet moments when people stop playing the roles assigned to them. Any resemblance to real events is intentional in feeling, not in fact. I went to bed that night telling myself I'd handle it in the morning. That was the lie that carried me into what came next. When does helping stop feeling like love and start feeling like a job? I did the math once. I shouldn't have. Numbers make things real. They don't stay polite. 20 birthdays. Maybe more if I count the half parties and the "we'll do something later" versions that never quite happened. I kept a folder for each one. Cake options, seating charts, a note that said, "Call florist again," because no one else ever did. The first few years felt normal. A mother doing mother things. Then the requests got sharper, faster, less grateful. A text instead of a conversation. A list instead of a thank you. The bakery stopped asking for names. They just asked, "Same date?" Venues learned my voice. I'd walk in, and someone would already be pointing at the calendar. Deposits here, final payments there. Promises floated around the room like confetti, everyone stepping over them, me picking them up. My own birthdays were quieter. Grocery store cake with icing too sweet, sometimes a single candle if I remembered to buy one. Once, a pizza box left on the counter, grease soaked through the bottom. That was the year someone said we were all too tired for celebrating. Later came up a lot. Later meant never. At home, my daughter would scroll while talking. Multitasking confidence. A quick smile thrown in my direction when she remembered I was there. A reminder about guest counts, about themes, about expectations. I kept nodding. kept saying it was fine, kept moving things around so nothing collided. The money part was worse. Deposits I floated, refunds that slipped through. A quiet understanding that I'd cover it now and we'd settle later. Later stayed busy. I told myself this was what stability looked like. I told myself calm was worth the cost. I told myself a lot of things that made it easier to keep going. The folder for this year sat on the table, thicker than the rest. My fingers hovered over it, not opening it yet, just feeling the weight. I didn't know it then, but that hesitation mattered. What's the most money you've spent trying not to upset anyone? My dad had a way of ending conversations without actually ending them. The card would come out, a soft slide across the table, a tap near my hand, like punctuation. Same move every year. This time, the card stopped closer. Platinum, cold edge against my fingers, heavy, like weight could stand in for responsibility. I asked about the budget. The word barely made it out before a laugh cut through the room. Not mean, casual, the kind you don't argue with. Don't stress about it. Just make it nice. Nice meant flexible. Flexible meant me. The card stayed put. No numbers, no ceiling, just trust. Or what they like to call trust. I didn't take it right away. That earned a look. My dad's eyebrows lifted a fraction. My daughter finally glanced up from her phone, eyes already sliding past me. Friday for the deposits, she added, like she was reminding a calendar, not a person. Later that night, I opened my banking app at the kitchen counter. The light from the screen felt too bright. The balance didn't move. I did. Leaned back. Forward again. Stared longer than I meant to. I'd paid for flowers that never showed up in photos. A disc jockey who quit mid-song. Chairs rented by the dozen because someone miscounted. All of it added up to memories that weren't mine. I closed the app. The fridge hummed. The card sat where I'd left it, waiting. In my head, I ran through the usual justifications. It'll come back. It always works out. Don't make this awkward. The list was familiar, comfortable, like an old coat that didn't fit anymore but still felt safe. I picked up the card, not with relief, with resignation. My fingers left a smudge on the corner. I wiped it on my sleeve, then stopped. Didn't bother. I told myself this was easier than pushing back. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself a lot of things that night. The card went into my wallet. The folders stayed on the table. I went to bed knowing exactly what I'd just agreed to, even if no one else had said it out loud. What hurts more, being forgotten or being remembered as an afterthought? A woman from accounting leaned on my cubicle wall and smiled, asked how old I was turning. The smile stayed while I counted backward in my head. That pause told her enough. She laughed it off, tapped the folder in her arms, moved on. I wrote the number down on a sticky note so I wouldn't forget it again. At home, the reminder landed sideways. My daughter glanced up, eyes flicking past me like a missed stop. "Oh, your birthday's soon." The word soon hung there for half a second before it got swept aside. Anyway, about the guest list, we need to add more. My mother sighed from the couch, already tired of something that hadn't happened yet. We're done with big celebrations. Too much work. Her hand waved, dismissing the idea in general, not the timing. I nodded, muscle memory. The room relaxed when I did. Voices overlapped again, chair covers, seating flow, whether the band should start earlier. My birthday slid off the table without a sound. I didn't bring it back. That part's on me. I've learned how to make myself smaller when it keeps things smooth. The calendar on the fridge still had my dates circled from months ago. I stood there with the door open, cold air on my legs, listening to them argue about linen colors. The marker bled a little through the paper. Red halo. I traced it once with my finger, then closed the door. That night, a grocery store cake showed up on the counter. No candle. Someone cut it crooked. A quick make-a-wish floated by, already late for something else. Plates clinked. The television stayed on. I cleaned up, threw away the plastic knife, washed the pan. The house went quiet fast, like it had somewhere better to be. I sat at the table with a party folder open in front of me. The guest list had grown again. Notes in the margin, deadlines underlined. The date on the fridge stayed circled. I closed the folder and didn't put it away. Not yet. What's the smallest comment that ever completely messed you up? We were in the break room, both pretending the coffee didn't taste burned. She'd seen the folder under my arm before. Everyone had. This time, she didn't make a joke about it. She just looked at the thickness, the bent corner, the way I held it like it might run. Why do you keep doing this? That was it. No advice, no tone. Just a pause afterward that waited for something real. I opened my mouth, closed it, tried again. The answers lined up in my head and fell apart on the way out. She's my daughter. I'm good at it. It's easier. Each one sounded thin the second it landed. I watched her face. Nothing judgmental there, just stillness. Like she'd put the weight back in my hands and stepped aside. The kettle clicked off. Someone else grabbed a mug. The room kept moving. I didn't. At home, I sat on the edge of the bed with a party folder open on my lap. Pages fanned out. Notes in my handwriting. Deadlines circled twice. I flipped to the guest list and felt my jaw tighten. Names I didn't recognize. +1s, +1s, all of it already assumed. I closed the folder. The sound was louder than I expected. I set it on the floor, leaned over, and opened my laptop. No plan, no speech, just the cursor blinking like it had somewhere to be. Beach rentals came up first. I didn't mean to search that. It happened anyway. Another tab followed, then another. Dates slid into place without asking. My birthday week fit like it had been waiting. My phone buzzed. A message from my daughter about chair covers. Another about the band's schedule. I turned the phone face down. The screen went dark. My chest didn't. I saved the page. Didn't book anything yet. Just saved it. That felt reckless enough. The folder stayed closed. The laptop stayed open. I lay back and stared at the ceiling until the room went quiet. Something had shifted. Not dramatic, not brave. Just a small refusal taking shape where my answers used to be. Have you ever done something quietly because you knew you'd talk yourself out of it otherwise? I booked a beach bungalow just after midnight. 2 weeks, right over my birthday. The confirmation page loaded slow, like it was thinking about whether to let me have it. My hand shook when I typed the card number. Not panic. Something looser than that. Like the moment before you step off a curb without checking the light. I stared at the screen when it asked me to confirm. Read the dates twice. Checked the name. Mine. Still mine. I hit confirm before I could stand up. The email came in right away. Subject line, cheerful. Too cheerful. I didn't open it. Let it sit there, like proof I wasn't ready to look at yet. I didn't tell anyone. Not my daughter, not my parents, not even the friend who'd asked the question. Silence felt safer than explanations. The next morning, my daughter's messages stacked up. Chair covers, a band request, a reminder about deposits. I replied with a thumbs up, nothing else. The phone stayed face down on the counter, buzzing like it wanted attention. At dinner, my parents talked timelines, Friday deadlines, final numbers. I nodded along, counting bites. When the card came back around the table, I slid it into my wallet without comment. The motion felt practiced. That bothered me. Later, alone, I opened the email, scrolled past the details. Oceanfront, 2 weeks. My birthday circled in the middle like a dare. I closed it again, didn't delete it. I told myself I could cancel. Told myself this was just looking, not deciding. Told myself the same things I always did when I wasn't ready to be honest. The folder for the party stayed where I'd left it, unopened. The laptop sat on the dresser, still warm. My suitcase leaned in the closet from a trip years ago, zipper half broken, waiting. I went to bed earlier than usual, slept lighter. Woke up once with my heart racing, then settled back down. By morning, the booking was still there. So was I. What does under control actually mean to you? The guest list grew. Someone printed a new version and set it on top of the old one, like an upgrade. Then another version appeared. Names stacked, plus ones multiplied. The red circle around 150 got thicker. My daughter leaned over the table, phone still in her hand. A quick glance at the papers. A nod that felt like approval. "You've got this, right?" My mouth answered before anything else could interfere. Yes. Calm. Steady. The word landed clean. That part scared me a little. A wad of cash changed hands, folded tight, warm. Someone mentioned deposits. Friday. No number attached to it, just expectation. I tucked the money into my bag without counting. The room relaxed when I did. Shoulders dropped. Conversation moved on. No one asked for confirmation. No one asked for receipts. No one asked where things stood. That's the trick with being reliable. People stop checking. They start assuming. At work, my phone buzzed through a meeting. Another update. Another request. Another reminder that the band wanted an earlier start. I typed back a short line during a pause. Handled. It felt strange how easy that was to write. At home, my parents ran through a timeline like a rehearsal. Tables here, gifts there, arrival times. I nodded at the right moments. When the card came out again, I waved it off and tapped my bag. Already taken care of. Later, alone, I spread the latest list on the kitchen table. 150 names stared back, some familiar, some not. All confident there would be music, food, light. A night arranged by someone else. I slid the list back into the folder, closed it. The click sounded final. My phone buzzed once more and went still. I didn't check it. The booking confirmation sat unread in my inbox. The cash stayed where I'd put it. The house felt quieter than usual, like it was holding its breath. I went to bed knowing they believed me, knowing they wouldn't look any closer, knowing that belief was about to carry more weight than anything I'd ever said. What happens when you don't answer the phone for once? Airport floor, early morning. My shoes squeaked like they were nervous for me. The phone started buzzing before I hit security and didn't stop. A stack of names lit up the screen. I knew the order without looking. I turned it off. The silence felt loud. Wrong for a second. Then right in a way I didn't trust yet. At the gate, a woman beside me complained about delays to no one in particular. I nodded out of habit, then caught myself and looked away. My hands were steady. That surprised me. On the plane, before the doors closed, I opened my voicemail. The red dot waited like it had something to say back. I recorded one line and stopped. I'm not available right now. No apology, no timeline. I listened to it twice. Didn't change a word. The seatbelt sign chimed. The aisle cleared. I pressed my forehead into the headrest and breathed through the part of me that wanted to check the phone anyway. That reflex has a long reach. The flight attendant leaned in with a practiced smile and asked if I wanted coffee. I shook my head. Water instead. The cup was cold in my hand. The plane rolled forward. My chest tightened, then loosened as the ground dropped away. Somewhere over the clouds, I slept. Light. Broken. Woke to the feeling that I was late for something, and then remembered I wasn't. When we landed, the phone stayed off. I kept it that way through the terminal, through the car rental counter, through the drive. The radio played a song I didn't recognize. I didn't change it. At the bungalow, the key stuck in the lock. I laughed out loud when it finally turned. The room smelled clean and unused. I put my bag down and sat on the edge of the bed, shoes still on. The phone stayed dark on the table. For the first time in a long while, the world didn't know where I was. And nothing collapsed. What collapses when the safety net walks away? I found out later, bits and pieces, voicemails I didn't listen to until days after, texts that stacked on top of each other like they were trying to climb out of the phone. Guests arrived, dressed for something that was supposed to matter, heels clicking, gift bags rustling. A few hugs exchanged before the confusion set in. Someone checked the time. Someone else checked the room. Nothing started. No music, no trays, no staff moving with purpose. Just a big, quiet space holding 150 people who had been promised a night. My daughter's voice cut through first, sharp, panicked, a sound I'd only heard when she lost control. My mother followed, crying in short bursts, the kind meant to pull people closer. Chairs scraped. Someone laughed once, nervous and wrong. The manager stood near the entrance, hands folded, posture careful. Calm didn't help. There's nothing booked under that name. That sentence did the damage. It landed and stayed. People pulled out phones. Invitations were checked like proof might change something. The words deposit and contract floated around, then dropped. My phone stayed off. I was barefoot on the sand when it was happening. The tide came in and out, like it had other things to worry about. I kept my eyes on the water, because every time I looked away, my chest tightened. I knew exactly what was unfolding. I didn't need updates. Back at the hall, someone demanded answers. Someone else demanded my name. The manager repeated himself. Nothing booked, no payment, no event scheduled. The truth didn't bend just because people were upset. I stayed where I was, let the moment finish without me. Later that night, I sat on the edge of the bed and turned the phone on. The screen lit up all at once. Missed calls, messages stacked high, accusations wrapped in panic. I didn't respond. Not yet. The hall had been empty, completely empty, and for the first time, I didn't rush in to fill the space. What if the hardest part isn't leaving, but staying gone? They didn't wait long. The doorbell rang 2 days after I got home. No call first, no warning, just that sound, sharp and impatient, like I owed them time. My daughter went first. Words came fast. Embarrassment, humiliation, family name. She didn't sit down. She didn't have to. The room already belonged to her. My mother followed, quieter but heavier. Tears, disappointment. That old tone meant to pull me back into place. My father stayed near the door, arms crossed, jaw tight. He only spoke once. Something about loyalty. Something about what decent people do. I listened. All of it. I let the silence stretch longer than they liked. When it was my turn, I didn't give them a speech. I didn't list dates or receipts or explain the math of 20 years. I just said the truth I could carry. I won't do this anymore. That sentence landed harder than anything I could have shouted. My daughter laughed, short and sharp. My mother stared at me like I'd switched languages. This isn't about the party, I added. It never was. They waited for more. Apologies, negotiation, a timeline for forgiveness. There wasn't one. They left angry. The kind of angry that wants to be chased. I didn't chase. A year passed. My birthday came again. No big plans, a small cake, a few people who showed up because they wanted to, not because I organized them into it. We sat too long. We talked about nothing important. I didn't clean until the next morning. Some family members still don't call. Some days that hurts. Some days it feels like air. Here's the part I'll say out loud, because no one told me when I needed it. Choosing yourself late in life doesn't feel heroic. It feels awkward. It feels selfish. It feels like learning to walk with a limp you didn't know you had, but it's still walking. If this story sounds familiar, if you've ever been the default, the fixer, the one who absorbs everything so others stay comfortable, talk about it. Say it somewhere, in the comments, with someone you trust. Stories like this don't change when we keep them quiet. I didn't go back, and my life didn't fall apart.